Hello, McClure families. If you were unable to attend our recent Rising 6th grade parent night, this video will take you through an annotated version of the content that was presented on that evening. Hello, everyone. I'm Corey Stanley, principal at McClure Middle School. Thank you for taking some time as Rising 6th grade parents to go through this video. We're going to cover nuts and bolts. We're going to talk about academics. We're going to talk about behavior at McClure, and we are going to talk about some of the realities of having a rising middle school student, which we know can be terrifying, but don't worry, we're going to guide you through this process. Some names you need to know before we begin. You're going to want to know our administrative team. As I mentioned, I'm the principal. We also have a 6th and 7th grade assistant principal, Carrie Porter. We have a 7th and 8th grade assistant principal, Corey Sanford, and we have a student support administrator, Miss Dina Taylor. You're also going to want to know our 6th grade counselor, Miss Stacy Sledge. When it comes to contacting any of us, the easiest way to do that is via email. Of course, you can call our front office at any time. But if you go to the McClure School website and you go to the menu on the left-hand side, under About, you'll see Administration, and then under Staff, you will see an entire staffing list. All of our email contacts are addressed there. We like to say that McClure is the best in the West. You probably heard that in your own neighborhood as far as our reputation goes. The reason we say that is because McClure is the best middle school in West Cobb, and that's for a lot of reasons. We'll start with testing, achievement, and progress. When you look at our CCRPI, which is a state rating, ours is the highest score in West Cobb, and that's based on how high do our students achieve, as well as how much do we grow our students, most importantly, grow our students from year to year. And we progress our students at McClure more than anybody else in West Cobb. But it isn't just about academics. Behaviorally also, we have great positive behavior supports in our building. We have an excellent student population, and then we also have an outstanding community of engaged and supportive parents. For all these reasons, we stand by that moniker of best in the West. You'll hear me say it often, and it's something that we strive to live up to every day. So welcome to the best in the West. When we did our Rising 6th grade parent night in person here in the theater, we had representatives from 3 parent organizations take a minute to speak to our families that were visiting us live in person. You can see the leadership names here with each of our organizations, the PTSA, the Foundation, and the Maverick Men, and those folks spoke about what those organizations do. The main message I want you to hear is sometimes when you go from elementary to middle school, you feel like, well, I no longer am wanted in the building to volunteer. And that is not the case. While you may not be volunteering as a classroom parent in a classroom all day because it's not really a middle school thing, there are tons of opportunities to get into the building to volunteer and support our students and staff. So definitely join the PTSA. Partner with the foundation. The foundation helps us with innovation and technology. And then Maverick Men is an organization that helps us with projects around the house. This is a big building. It's a beautiful campus, and the district does a great job of maintaining it. However, we like to go a little above and beyond, and the Maverick Men help us with projects around the building. They also help meet and greet in the morning, be visible at duty-free lunch. So lots of ways to get involved. I'm going to share with you one of the projects that these groups partnered together with, just to give you an example of how our parent groups partner with the school to get things done, both for the benefit of our students and our staff. So here on the screen, you will see pictures of a project that was done earlier this year, and it's a bridge project. And this is the way things work at McClure. The administrative team meets with the PTSA once a month, with the foundation once a month, with the Maverick Men once a month. And we just have a discussion about what are the needs in the building, what's coming up, and how do we partner together to get these things done. Well, we had a tree fall behind our building. We have a trail through the woods back on our beautiful campus, an outdoor classroom back there. A tree fall and damage a bridge. And so I came to the foundation and said, hey, we've lost a bridge, and are there funds in the foundation to help rebuild that? And they said, we can make that happen. And then the Maverick men said, we can build it. And it's just an example of how our parent organizations work together with this one team, one goal vision of making McClure the best in the West always. So lots of opportunities if you get involved with those parent organizations. Some other examples of projects that the foundation, the PTSA, and the Maverick Men have partnered on. We have new benches in our busport that were installed and paid for by the foundation. Throughout our building, there's screens where we do sort of live update rather than having a stagnant bulletin board. We took those down and we put up big panels where we can recognize students, student birthdays, students of the month. We can let folks know about events that are upcoming, and the students love to see their names and faces up on those screens. But there's been a multitude of projects, including the complete renovation of 2 rooms in our building. So when you come visit, if you're curious, hey, what has the foundation, the PTSA, the Maverick Men done together? I'm happy to point those things out to you, and definitely want you to jump on board with those projects as well. If you want to get a head start, put your name in the hat to help volunteer and support the PTSA next year. They will take that information from you right away. Scan this QR and get involved. All right, let's get to some nuts and bolts about the school. You can see our school population and our demographic information here on the screen. Our enrollment's about 1,050. That puts us in the above the middle size in Cobb County as far as middle schools, probably on the higher end of that. We have about 350 students in each grade level, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. As you can see, our demographics, while we are a majority white school, we are a diverse population, which is great. We're not only diverse demographically, we're diverse economically. We have a beautiful campus, part of what makes us best in the West, and a beautiful building. When you come on, our building looks like, whoa, these folks don't want for anything. And between the district and our foundation, we really don't, but we have families in our community that do, and there's great opportunity to support those families as well. We also have a large percentage of our population that is gifted identified, as well as a percentage of our population that are students with disabilities. Our English language learner population, just like ELL across the district, is growing. It'll be about 5% next year. It's about 4% now, but that is just a snapshot of our building here on the screen. McClure is unique in that it's the only middle school in Cobb County that goes to 3 high schools. We go a third to Allatoona, a third about to Kennesaw Mountain, and a third to Harrison. And we get from 4 elementary schools on paper. In reality, I'll talk to you a little bit about that. It's different, but we get from Bullard, we get from Due West, we get from Fry, and we get from Lewis. In reality, we get students on choice as well because we are the best every year in this building across the 3 grade levels. We have about 150 students here on school choice, meaning they live in Cobb County somewhere else and they choose to come here, either because they've school choice to us, or their parent works for the district and could choose to send them anywhere and chooses to send them to us, or their parent works here. That's a lot of bodies, 150, and that is a great asset to us. The only downside is the carpool line, which anybody will tell you, but we've got it down to a system and a science, so just follow our instruction when it comes to that. But we get a lot of folks that are zoned elsewhere that come to us, and that allows us to schedule and do some of the things that we do in our instructional teams that we wouldn't be able to do without those students on choice. When it comes to our schedule, it's a little different than students will be used to in elementary school. You can see here that our instructional day, our announcements don't start until 9:10, and then we don't dismiss until 4:15. Within this schedule, you'll see 5 academic classes, including Math Block, which I'll talk about shortly, and 2 connections. And connections are different from specials in elementary in that they see these 2 connections every day for at least a semester. In the morning, our doors open at 8 o'clock. Front doors open at 8 o'clock. If students have before school study sessions, they have before school clubs, they'll check in and they can go attend those events from 8 to 8:50. We run a silent supervised study hall in our theater. Then at 8:50, we release from study hall and we unload the buses. Most of our students ride the bus. Doors open for those students at 8:50. Students can go get breakfast, drop off instruments, and then announcements start at 9 10. The first instruction of the day starts at 9:15, and again, dismissal at 4:15. Within that 7-period day, there are 5 academic classes. 4 of these are going to seem really familiar. ELA, math, science, and social studies. The 5th class, as you can see here at McClure, we call Math Block, and that is unique to our students in groups based on their individualized needs, which I'm going to talk to you about next. So Math Block is the 3rd period class for every student in all 3 grades, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. It's 3rd period, and it is based on need. And I'm going to explain the why we have Math Block first, and then I'll explain what it is. In many schools across America, but definitely within Cobb County as well, students get 5 academic classes every day. They get ELA, math, science, social studies, and reading. When we look at our data here at McClure, 70% of our students read above grade level. And so the question gets asked, why are we teaching reading to students that are strong readers? Doesn't mean that reading isn't important. In fact, you'll find out it's our #1 priority, but aren't there other opportunities? And the second reason is if you have a student that's below grade level in math, below grade level in reading, and I put them in a class that's below grade level. You're in a remedial math class or a remedial reading class, and I teach them below grade level for the entire year. At the end of the year, guess where they wind up? That's right, below grade level. That's not our goal. Our goal is grade level or higher for all students. So what we do at McClure is offer Math Block, and we prioritize it like this. If you are a below grade level reader, that is priority #1. You're going to get scheduled in Read 180, and that means every day you have your regular ELA class where you're working on grade level ELA standards, but then you also have intensive reading instruction during another period. If you are a grade level reader but you struggle in math, you are going to have your regular math class, grade level content, but then you're also going to get math support as your 5th academic class. So if I'm teaching you grade level math and math support at the same time, I can get you from below grade level to grade level or higher. That's the reason behind our system. Now, if you're a student that doesn't need either of those, you're above grade level reader, you're thriving in math, we look at extension. Well, let's offer some extension. So we do STEM, problem-based learning or project-based learning for a quarter, and then we do writing extension or ELA extension for a quarter, and they go back and forth. So that is the why behind Math Block and the what it is. It will be tailored to each student and then is fluid throughout the year and is reevaluated at the end of every quarter. For our core content classes, there are a variety of placement levels. And before we get into the discussion of advanced content class placement criteria, I want to make sure you have these 2 names right out in front of you. If you have questions about class placement for a student in advanced content or any class placement, you want to reach out to Miss Carrie Porter, our 6th grade assistant principal, who's also our master scheduler. You'll see her name here on the screen. The other person to reach out to if you have placement questions about a student with an IEP, they receive maybe a small group class or a co-taught setting, you're going to want to reach out to Miss Dina Taylor, our student support administrator. If you go to the McClure website and you go to the left-hand side under the menu and you go under About Administration, you'll find both of these amazing ladies and their contact information there. So let's talk advanced content placement criteria. For every content, math, science, social studies, and ELA, we have a set of criteria. We use multiple measures to place students in advanced content courses. Being gifted alone is not the only requirement as it is in elementary school. If a student is a high achiever, and we see that over time, they can earn their way into advanced content placement. For 6th grade, you'll see on the screen here, these are our ELA, our social studies, and our science requirements for placement in AC classes in 6th grade. And then here are the placement criteria for both advanced and accelerated math in 6th grade. The other 2 classes your student will have, in addition to their academics, are connections, and they'll have 2 of those classes, and they meet every day. Now, the left-hand side here, chorus, band, orchestra, those 3 classes are the one class in middle school that students get to actually choose, and they don't have to have any musical experience to join those groups. During the first week of school, they'll do a test drive in connections. They'll get to visit with all the musical directors. They'll also get to try out instruments, and they'll get to then decide, hey, this instrument or this organization is a good fit. Students can choose to do one of those. We encourage all 6th grade students to do at least one, or they can choose to do both band and chorus or both orchestra and chorus. That is their elective. They get to make that choice, and it's a year-long commitment. If students don't join those programs in the 6th grade, they're not able to do those programs in 7th grade because they're a year behind musically their peers, and we don't have beginning band, chorus, and orchestra in 7th grade. So now's the time. We want every 6th grade student to pick at least one of those classes. Now, the other classes are the other connections. Every semester, they will change. So a student might sign up and say, I'm going to do chorus, and then at random, they'll be given another class. Might be PE, might be family and consumer sciences, etc. The next semester, they'll continue to be in chorus because that's year long, and then their connection will change. The goal being, during their years in middle school, they get a variety of experiences. So when it is time to have electives in high school, they know what their favorite things are, their high interest areas are, and they can elect to take those courses at that time. For us, connections are scheduled, except for the music programs, at random, and they shuffle every semester. We have talked about our instructional model and the classes that your student will take. Now let's talk about our operational management systems. Our motto at McClure is Dare to be a Maverick, and DARE stands for, as you can see here, determined, accountable, respectful, and excellent. And from day one, in fact, before day one, when the rising 6th graders came recently in the spring to McClure, we talked about this with them. What does determined, accountable, respectful, excellent look like in our building? And when they get here in 6th grade, we spend the first 2 weeks of the school year every day in every class doing some sort of instruction on what does Dare to be a Maverick look like. And we talk about what's it look like in the hallway, what's it look like in the classroom, what's it look like in the cafeteria. I'm going to show you some examples of that in just a second. But the idea being, we teach students up front, these are the behaviors that we expect. This is what being a Maverick at McClure looks like. And then we recognize those behaviors with positive points. We know our students are coming from not only our 4 feeder elementaries, but from elementary schools all across the district on choice. And we want to make sure we have common language when talking about behavior, and not just behavior when it comes to like social interactions or not disrupting class, but our behavior when it comes to how hard we are working on our work, how much we are challenging ourselves to grow. So you will hear your Maverick talking about our DARE expectations right away from day one in 6th grade. As you can see here, these are examples of how we have those DARE expectations posted throughout our building. Every classroom also has, each teacher has the ability to put, this is what determined, accountable, respectful, excellent look like in this classroom. So again, this gives us common language. It will give you common language. The students will learn this immediately in the first 2 weeks of school. We want you to be aware of it so that you can be excited with them when they come home, talking about the points they are earning for meeting these expectations in the classroom, in the hallways, and anywhere throughout our building. Students then earn points, as I mentioned, for demonstrating these DARE expectations. We use an app called PBIS Rewards where they earn points, and they can spend those points on a multitude of things. That's like our currency here at McClure. Every month we do a celebration day. We call it DARE Day. Students have to have enough points to attend. It's basically like recess from middle school. We go outside, we put on music, we sell junk food, and they can hang out. We have a school store. You can see a picture of it here. In that, there are all sorts of treats and games, also hoodies and t-shirts, all sorts of things students can buy electronically, and then they get delivered to their homeroom through the app. And then we also have each semester, like last semester, we did a field trip to Stars and Stripes. Students had to have 300 points to purchase that trip in PBIS Rewards. And this semester, at the end of the semester, we're going to do a carnival. and students have to have enough points to attend that. So this becomes our currency. Do not be surprised if your student comes home very excited about the points they are earning for meeting our DARE expectations at McClure. Just a couple of notes on extracurriculars. We do have clubs at McClure before and after school. When we have our 6th grade Stampede, which I'll talk about in a little bit, which is right before school starts, in our gym, we'll have information about our clubs set up. But really for the students, they just need to pay attention to the daily announcements because all of our clubs advertise their day and meeting times. There's a whole bunch, and you can see our website there listed there as well. If you've got an athlete, we do have intramurals, which is before school sports that our PE coaches run, and you'll be listening for that schedule. We'll publish it to you as the school year starts. But if you've got someone that wants to get involved in more organized sports, at the middle school level, those are all run through the high school. So we feed 3 high schools, Allatoona, Harrison, and Kennesaw Mountain, and they all have athletic programs, and then they have junior programs. So you may want to be looking for a junior Hoya cross country or junior Mustangs softball or junior Bucks basketball. So you do that through the high school athletic website, and then you look at their junior section and you'll be able to get all the information on that. Also, every week when we send our weekly communication, which I'll tell you about shortly, we always put our community events, including our high schools, and that includes when it's time to sign up for, try out for all the athletics. So let's talk about that weekly communication. Every week, you will get, once you're rolled up into our system on Sunday night at 7 o'clock, you get 3 things sent your way. And it's kind of like pick your own path depending on what you want. The first thing that you'll get, and you'll notice, is a phone call. It'll be a recording. It's me typically, and it's 3 minutes, and it's all the things that are coming up. And it'll just say, here's all the things coming this week. And that is the short and sweet version. You also will get a newsletter. That would be the opposite end of the spectrum. We call it the Maverick Minute, and it's all the things. It's all the details, all the links, instructional things, operational things, PTSA, foundation, community events. They're all in there. Every week it comes out Sunday at the same time, 7 o'clock. You'll get it through CTLS, and it will have, like I said, all the links automatically, so you can just open that up and you'll learn, let me listen to the phone call, and if it mentions something, then let me go open the Maverick Minute and I'll find that. And get that information. Always good to skim that, but it is a lot because we have so many things going on. And then in between that, there's a video very similar to this. In fact, it's the same exact format, and I do that as an in-between that phone call and the newsletter. It's longer than the phone call, gives you a little bit more detail than the phone call, but it's not as detailed as the newsletter. So that comes out every Sunday. We often say, if you don't know what's going on at McClure, you're just not paying attention, because we get that information out. It's one of the things as a school we are complimented on the most. If you don't hear about it from us, it isn't worth hearing about. We'll make sure that you know, and that will begin again after July 10th sometime this summer. Don't forget, every teacher, just like an elementary school, has a CTLS homepage. They will have a class board with every daily assignment, and there's a ton of information on our school website. If you are finding, I can't find information, or I'm not getting the communication, call us. We will respond to you right away and get you set up, because we want you to be in the loop, because this is a team effort, school, student, and home. That triangle is hugely important to the success we're going to have next year here at McClure. 2 of the most frequently asked questions on Rising 6th grade parent night, when we have people face-to-face, are right here on the screen. The first one is dress code, and ours is very simple at McClure. Yes, we have a dress code, and it will be all spelled out, and you will get it, and it indicates lots of things that you would expect, right? Don't wear clothing with inappropriate sayings on it, or don't walk around with a blanket, or no hoodies or hats allowed. Normal school stuff. But for the most part, we talk to students about the B's. We say we don't want to see the B's. If the B's are not visible, you are within dress code. And the B's are very simple. It's, I don't want to see your belly, your back, your butt, your boxers, your breasts, or your bra. If the B's aren't showing, you're in dress code 99% of the time. And for our students, that works. And if there's anything that's questionable, we always tell them, just don't wear it. We have found that dress code to be effective here. to be flexible enough that students are okay with it, and also that parents are, that you're not trying to find shorts that are really, really long, because they oftentimes don't make them for girls that fit or that are in style. So again, if we stick with the B's and we don't push it, you're going to be within dress code. We try to make that easy, fair, but also we want students to come dressed to be successful at school within the dress code. The other one is lockers. And yes, we offer lockers, but the vast majority of our students do not get a locker. They choose not to sign up for one because they just carry a backpack. They don't have piles and piles of books like I did when I was in school. So we have 350 sixth graders. I think this year we had about 30 ask for a locker, and about none of them still use it. They use them for about a week for the novelty, and then they don't use them anymore. So those are the two big FAQs. If we haven't answered something by the time we get to the end of this video, of course, reach out to me or reach out to our front office, and we'll help you with whatever you need. Speaking of getting questions answered, I want you to mark your calendar for Friday, August 1st. That's the Friday before school starts next year. That is the date of our sixth grade Stampede. That is an afternoon, 12:30 to 3:30. We want all parents and students here, all of our sixth grade students and parents, I should say, for the sixth grade Stampede. On that day, we'll split the grade level in half. Half of the group will be upstairs in our sixth grade area. They will be traveling classrooms, meeting the teachers, getting to know what the lay of the land looks like in that area. And the other half will be downstairs, and they'll be traveling connections. They'll be picking up their laptop that you've already opted in for. Make sure you do that. Communication coming in that regard. They'll be doing a shirt swap. We ask every elementary student, to, whether they're from Lewis, Fry, Bullard, wherever, to come in with a shirt from that school. And you know you've got a ton. And they're going to swap it. They're going to turn it in, and they're going to turn in that shirt, and we're going to hand them a McClure Maverick shirt. We're going to say, you're no longer Fry Flame, right? You're no longer a Bullard Bulldog. You are a McClure Maverick. This is how you represent. We start that rite of passage on sixth grade Stampede. If you order school box supplies, you'll be able to pick them up on this day. But this is the day we want people to get really comfortable in the building. That's our students, and we want our parents to get comfortable in the building. So mark your calendars. Information will be coming once you're rolled up into our system in July. And here comes the final segment of our presentation. And this is really the good stuff or the scary stuff, depending on how you look at it. Middle school is a challenging time. I don't think any of us as adults, if given a time in our life to return to magically, would choose adolescence. And I think this quote on the screen really sums it up well. This is going to be a span of time where students are having a whole world of new experiences. I believe that there is no time in a young person's life other than infancy, other than those infant years, that young folks need adult support, adult supervision, adult guidance, honest feedback, coaching more than adolescence, than these middle school years. These years are critical. So I'm going to give you a reality. You will always get communication from us very directly. We'll tell you how it is. We will be honest with you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about these middle school years on these next few slides. I mentioned that middle school is a time of great need. A lot of times we're thinking, well, they're out of elementary school. They're good. They know what to do. They are not ready to be out of the nest. We say often that in elementary school, your kiddo is a dog, right? You walk in the door and they're just so excited to see you. They just can't wait to introduce you to their friends. And it's just the happiest moment of their life whenever you're in the school. And then in middle school, your dog turns into a cat. And at some point, you're going to walk into our building and your student is going to see you and they're going to go, oh my God, it's my mom, right? This is coming. Good news is sometime in high school, you'll get your dog back. But middle school is tough, right? It's a time of great need, and they need a lot of guidance. They need a lot of supervision and a lot of support. So let me give it to you how it is. Let me tell you the facts. The first thing is they do not need a smartphone. And there's a reason I list this first. Every issue that we have socially, and we're a great school, but every issue we have socially, if smartphones are involved, it makes the situation worse. The other thing is think about your own child. Would you give them unlimited access to their peers without supervision? at all hours? Would you say, I'm going to host a continual sleepover where all students are down, all my kid and their friends are all down in the basement, and I'm just not even going to watch them. I'm going to let them do whatever they want all hours. No, of course not. We would never do that. We supervise. But when we put a smartphone in our students' hands and they've got it 24 hours a day and it gives them unlimited, unscreened, unsupervised access to one another. They are not old enough. They are not mature enough to handle that. Let's be real. There are adults that are not old enough, mature enough to handle that. So no, they don't need a smartphone. Second thing is they definitely do not need social media. There is an anonymity where I can make an account that isn't my name and I can say mean things that I would never say to somebody's face, because if I saw it on their face, I'd see that hurts, and we wouldn't do that face to face, but it happens on social media. Again, there's adults that can't handle it. Why do we allow middle school students to have Snapchat accounts? Why do we allow middle school students to have Instagram accounts? They are not ready for that amount of access, that amount of exposure, that amount of seeing all the things that you can see on social media. So those are things they do not need. The other thing is they will tell you that they need these things. They will swear to you that everybody has them, everybody, and they will swear to you that they have to have it to be successful as a student. And that's just not true. Get them a phone for safety and security. Get them a flip phone. And I mean that as honestly as I can say it. Get them a flip phone. I have two twin nephews. They are middle schoolers and they have a watch. And that little watch is not a smart watch. It can only call or text 5 people and it's set up by their parents. These things exist. We can choose to let our kids be kids and manage them like kids, or we can treat them like adults. They're not adults yet. They're not ready for this sort of unlimited access to one another. So that's number one. They're not ready for any of that yet, especially as 6th graders. I also want to tell you about the McClure way. Every day at the end of the announcements, I say the number one rule at McClure is keep your hands and feet to yourself. If you do that and use only kind words, you'll stay out of trouble 99% of the time. And that is what ends the announcements every day, because it needs to be. It's the things I need to say, because middle school students really struggle keeping their hands to themselves. And by that, I mean not fighting, but like hanging on one another, grabbing one another, grabbing each other by the backpack, or grabbing each other's stuff, right? As adults, we don't just walk around, oh, I'm going to take this because I think it's funny. But middle school students do that. So we talk a lot about keeping our hands to ourselves and just using kind words. That is when people are watching and when people aren't. So just know that that's the language that we use. And this is the reality of coming into 6th grade. Most often, parents are worried of a couple of things. Number one, my little 11-year-old is going to come in and we're going to expect at McClure that student to know exactly where to go and to get there on their own. And that's just not the case. We are going to walk them everywhere the first couple of weeks, so they're not going to get lost. The second concern parents have is they're going to be in a hallway as an 11-year-old with an 8th grader that has facial hair and that is 6'5". And yes, those students do exist here in 8th grade, but our schedules work where 6th grade has their connections downstairs at the end of the day, 7th grade has it in the middle of the day, and 8th grade has it at the beginning of the day. And other than that, they're all in their own hallways. So they never really cross paths with other grade levels. And you'll see that when you do the 6th grade Stampede. Now, granted, they have a lot of opportunities. They can join band, chorus, orchestra. They're going to have 7 classes every day. There's more classrooms. There's more teachers. They're going to be fine. Parents, it's always the parents that are the most concerned. There's also a lot more opportunity, and we're going to guide them. This may be your first 6th grade student. It's not ours. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds over the course of many, many years, and we will guide them along this path, and we will share with you the things, honestly, that we think you need to know as middle school parents. That being said, there may be a time where you get a phone call and it says caller ID, McClure Middle School, and you pick up that phone and your response goes something like this. They did what? And it's just that time of their life where they're going to be testing boundaries, trying new things. And we'll get through this together and we'll get them out successfully on the other side, because these are the most important years to make sure they are ready to go to be successful young adults in high school. Shared a lot of information in this video, but it's not everything, and we will continue to communicate with you both as the school year approaches and throughout the school year. It is a team effort being the best in the West. We believe that mantra. We say it often. McClure Middle School is the best middle school in West Cobb for a multitude of reasons, but we strive to live up to that standard every minute of every day with every student, and that's a team effort. That's a school administration, that's non-teaching staff throughout our building, whether it's our cafeteria staff, our custodians, our paraprofessionals, or it's our teaching staff, the most important people in our building, and that's a partnership between us, the student, and you. It's a team effort. So let's commit to continuing McClure, its reputation as the best in the West. We look forward to traveling this path with you as your current fifth grader becomes a rising sixth grade maverick at McClure.